But how much responsibility should sellers have to educate novice or new retro collectors?
Well, the part that you left out
the
part that you left out was he goes on to say, I bought a Mario Paint and
didn't realize I needed a mouse.
Yeah, didn't realize I needed the mouse.
This goes back to what I said about being good resellers versus bad. A bad reseller may not tell them because they don't give a shit, or may not know that these things happen in these games, or these accessories are required in these games.
I can only say so. I mean, my examples, there's tons, but the ones that are most common are, it's up to, if you should have some idea of what you're doing, but a good reseller can smell the customer that is getting back into it or might not know and is going to tell someone about these things. For instance, we do not even sell Mario Paint without the mouse. That's just, you can't fucking buy Mario Paint from us unless we have the mouse with it. If someone wants to buy a zapper, which happens every day I go, do you know that will not work on an HD TV? And every day they put it back, and I don't make $5. Whenever someone wants to buy Perfect Dark or Donkey Kong 64 or Majora's Mask, I make sure that they have the expansion pack, explain to them what it is. If they don't know what it is, I show them where it is and one that has one, then they go, oh yes or no, and then they don't buy it. I think for some scummy resellers, they just want to make the buck. It's not up to them. But to me, and yes, it's because I like to be ethical and good in my business, but I'm not going to lie. Part of it is pure anxiety. I don't need people coming back to me pissed off. I want everyone to have all the info they need right there, so that when I make a sale, I know that they are leaving with what they want and they know what they need to do with it.
Yeah, it just comes down to being a good seller and treating your customers correctly.
Yeah.
You are there to, when you work, I don't care if you have a booth at a flea market or a table at a convention, you are there as a seller, as at least in some small way, an authority on what, in theory, you're selling. Again, going back to bad resellers are not an authority, they just want a quick buck and don't know what the hell they're doing.
Or they could be an authority, but they don't give a shit. They might
which
know
is
all
worse.
the...
Which is actually worse.
Which I think is actually more often the case. I think that is, just from some of the stuff I've seen around here, that's more it. They just need to move the stock. They don't care.
They don't give a shit.
They don't give a shit. If you ask for a zapper, they're going to sell you a zapper. If you need a gun con, they're going to sell you a gun con. They don't give a fuck if they know that by now you're probably working with an HD TV. They're going to sell it and not warn you. I honestly can't do that. It creates too much anxiety in me.
You don't want... Has that ever happened? Have you ever screwed up and someone came back?
Yeah, I did once because someone was buying a bunch of like Nintendo games and they seemed like they knew their stuff, and it's happened a couple of times. They've always been cool about it, but like when you're buying 10 Nintendo games from me and you're like throw a zapper on or something like that, and they call me up, the zapper's broken. It is. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll replace it. Come on back. And then as I'm giving him the other zapper, I go, shit. Do you have an HD TV? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that won't work. Oh, can I exchange these light gun games? Yes, you can. So, I mean, that's the end of it. But yeah, it does. I slip from time to time, but it's never in a malicious way.